I, 20 female, saw my 22 male boyfriend's apartment for the first time, and it creeped me out. Hi, Reddit. I'm making this on a throwaway because I'm scared my boyfriend is a serial killer or something, and I don't want him to see this. Me and my boyfriend have been together for almost a year. Let's call him Michael. Why did you pick a serial killer name? I've never visited his apartment before. He's always stayed the night at my place on date nights, and whenever I asked to go visit his, he just said he prefers it at my place, and I never really thought anything of it. Anyways, about a week ago, he got really drunk and incoherent, so I told him I was going to take him home. He asked to go to my place, but I said no, as I didn't want him being sick in my apartment. I had to drag his address out of him, but I assumed he was just drunk, and it never occurred to me he didn't want me to know where he lives.
Ooh.
I took him there, and he lived in a real nice part of town, like seriously the type of apartments rich businessmen live in. I knew he had a good job and made a lot of money, but I didn't know it was this much. I took him into his apartment, and this is where it gets weird. I don't know if I'm just overreacting and he's just non-materialistic, but it was just too weird. He had literally no furniture. He had a mattress in his bedroom with covers, but no pillows, which he immediately passed out on, leaving me to look around. Next to his bed, he had a giant pile of books, almost all of them on sales and people skills. I get he's into the whole self-help thing, and I am too, but really only books on making people do things you want. He works in sales, so it makes sense, but some of them didn't seem as much to do with sales as they did manipulation. Like there was genuinely a book with manipulation in the fucking title. The rest of his house was
Not
empty.
a good sign.
The rest of his house was empty. He had a built-in wardrobe full of expensive clothes. I knew he always dressed good, but when the only thing you own is expensive clothes, that's kind of weird. Also, he had his phone charger plugged in and nothing else other than cosmetic stuff, so bathroom essentials, cologne, that sort of thing. It just amazed me he could live like this. I checked his fridge, and it had plenty of food in it, and he had a few cooking stuff in his drawers, so he clearly lived there enough to justify some sort of furniture. No TV, no laptop, not even a fucking chair. The only room that looked complete was the bathroom. It had everything you'd need: toothbrush, toothpaste, a mirror. That room seemed complete enough. It was just so creepy, I started thinking back to all the weird things he's done. I know he's lived there since I've known him because I don't recall him mentioning he lived in that block early on. But then it got me thinking, okay, he's always being dedicated to his work, and I love that about him. He's ambitious and passionate about something, but that's pretty much all I know he cares about. I've never met a single friend of his. I've seen work buddies, but I don't recall him ever once seeing anyone out of work. I've never met his family and barely know anything about them, other than he's never met his biological mom. He's very good at making people like him. All of my friends love him, but I've never known him to be interested in anyone other than me, I guess. He's always kept me at a distance, saying he needs a lot of alone time, especially with him working all the time. So I see him a few times a week, but the rest of the time, he's on his own in an empty apartment. I know this is wrong of me, but I asked a friend to follow him one day after work, and she said he went straight from work to his apartment. I even went to visit him without warning one of those days, and he was there all alone. From what I could tell, he wasn't even reading, as all the books were still in a pile. So what the fuck does he do? I don't know if I'm being ridiculous, but I'm convinced he's either a vampire who's adapted to sunlight or some sort of psychopath. I haven't talked to him about it, and he hasn't acted like it's weird or needs explaining. What should I do? What does this mean about him? I feel like there has to be some sort of explanation. This isn't normal. He has enough time off work, but never seems to go out, so he can't just be sitting in an empty apartment doing nothing. It doesn't make sense. Am I overreacting for snapping at my husband after he body shamed me post-baby and then finding out he's secretly on Tinder?
Classic.
I, 29 female, had our first baby 6 months ago. It was a brutal pregnancy. Gestational diabetes, swelling so bad I couldn't walk without crying, and then an emergency C-section that left me cut open and bedridden for weeks. My body still isn't back. I carry extra weight, my scar still aches, and some days I can barely recognize myself in the mirror. But I also look at my baby and think every stretch mark was worth it. My husband, 32 male, has been cold towards me ever since the baby. I thought it was stress. New parent life is hard. But last week, while we were in bed, I leaned in to cuddle him like I used to, and he pulled away. Then he said words I can't erase from my head. Quote, "We can fool around when you lose some weight."
My God.
I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. This is the same man who watched me scream in pain bringing his child into the world. I told him I've been healing, breastfeeding, up all night with the baby. How dare he reduce me to my waistline? I told him I didn't even want to fool around. I just wanted to cuddle. He shrugged and said, quote, "That's another problem, your mouth." Then he twisted it into me being the problem, that I'm too emotional, and that he was, quote, "just being honest." I couldn't stop crying. He's not exactly Mr. Perfect himself, and I told him that. He's got a beer gut, snores like a chainsaw, hasn't set foot in a gym in years, but I never once, until this argument, made him feel small over it, because that's not what love is. And here's where it gets worse. A couple of nights later, he left his phone on the counter while he showered. A notification popped up. Tinder. My stomach dropped. I clicked. He has an active profile. Current pictures, bio updated this month, messages from women. He doesn't know I saw it. I've been walking around the house in a daze, holding our baby, wondering what's wrong with me that the man I built a family with would rather swipe through strangers than look at me. It's not just about his words anymore. My body gave him a child. My body sacrificed for our family. And now it feels like my body is the very thing he despises. I keep thinking, am I overreacting? Should I just confront him? Should I pack up and leave? Or am I supposed to swallow this because, quote, men will be men? I feel shattered, used, betrayed. I don't even know how to look at him anymore. What makes it even worse is that my mom passed away when I was 13. So the only person I could talk to about this was my dad. When I explained everything to him, he told me I should try working out more and eating less.
Oh my God.
He basically told me to suck it up and that men are visual creatures. I'm starting to feel crazy. Please be honest. Am I just sensitive? Please don't hype me up. I don't want to lose my husband and my marriage. My wife had her wild phase before me, and now that I'm finally thriving, I feel like I missed out. Am I wrong for feeling this way? I've been married to my wife for 5 years, together for 8, and we have 2 beautiful children. She's been my first everything, my first girlfriend, my first real relationship, my first in every sense. I didn't really date in high school or college because honestly, I didn't take care of myself. I lacked confidence and didn't feel attractive, so I stayed focused on other things. My wife, on the other hand, had a more typical college experience. She had a few relationships and had her phase as she was extremely attractive. She even did stuff with 2 guys at the same time. She was upfront about it when we started dating, and it never bothered me, although I tried to not think about it too much. Now, here's the thing. Over the years, she's become quite reserved when it comes to intimacy. She says she had her wild side during college, and now that she's done with that phase, she prefers a more traditional approach to intimacy. She says she's tried everything she wanted to and knows what she enjoys and what she doesn't enjoy in the bedroom. And she wants to build intimacy on love, not wild lust. And I completely respect that. I'm not trying to do something which doesn't excite her in the bedroom. But lately, I've changed. I'm in the best shape of my life, physically, mentally, emotionally. Even my family and friends are kind of shocked with how I look now. My wife loves the new me and says she finds me more attractive than ever. But to be blunt, I don't care that my wife finds me attractive. Because I know I look good now. And it's not like her finding me more attractive will change anything in the bedroom department. My hormones right now are all over the place. And I can't help but feel like I missed my chance to experience that same fun side of life. I never had the exploration, the experimentation, the freedom. Now that I finally feel great about myself, that door seems closed. I brought it up with my sister. We're close. And she was surprisingly blunt. She said it's unfair that my wife got to have those experiences and now expects me to settle for less than what she once enjoyed. That hit me harder than I expected. But my sister also loves me to death and said some crazy stuff like I deserve to have an experience with at least one other woman in my life, else I'll keep resenting my wife. I love my wife. I don't want to hurt her. I'm not thinking of cheating or anything like that, but I do feel stuck between respecting her boundaries and acknowledging my own desires that never had the chance to exist. Am I wrong for feeling this way? Has anyone else been in this situation? How did you cope? Am I, 27 female, overreacting to my boyfriend's, 26 male, mom's, 50 female, unhinged sexual comments?
Oh.
I, 27 female, have been with my boyfriend, 26 male, for 2 years. Our families are very close. Both of our moms get along and pretty much became best friends once we started dating. I adore his mom, 50 female, too. We've had a genuine friendship since her son and I got together. Let me start by saying my boyfriend and his mom are pretty close and they have a great relationship. But since we started dating, she seems to be jealous of our relationship. And she seemed to start copying me. My boyfriend bought me a beanie from our favorite local company, and suddenly she needed the same beanie. We went bikini shopping, and she bought the exact same bikini I decided to buy. My boyfriend bought me a camping ice chest, so she went out and bought the exact same one for herself. Now she's looking to buy the exact same car as me that I bought for myself 6 months ago. For reference, I bought a 4x4 off-roading SUV with full towing capabilities because I go camping and ride dirt bikes quite a bit. She does not do any of that, nor have a single use for any 4x4 car. Aside from the copying, she makes very weird, inappropriate jokes. I said I wanted breakfast. She responds, quote, "Don't you get enough sausage from my son?"
Yikes.
No.
That's gross. Yeah.
I say I'm tired. She says, quote, "Maybe don't stay up so late having sex."
Oh, no. What the?
One time I made a comment about my boyfriend having big hands, and she said, quote, "You know what that means, right? Mama didn't raise no shrimpies."
Ew.
Raise no shrimpies?
What a weirdo.
Shrimpies?
Mm-mm.
Mama didn't raise no shrimpies?
This can't be the earth God created in 7 days. That's...
We were on a road trip once, and we had to pull over for a pee break. My boyfriend got out and just peed on the side of the road. Jokingly, I stood behind him and peeked over to watch his business. His mom saw, and she came over to do the same.
Okay, well, that was weird on both of
I
your
know, that
parts.
was like, I would not do that in front of my boyfriend's mother, but I will tell you that, but still.
She does say this stuff in front of my boyfriend, her son, and he'll snap and tell her she's being weird, but she only ever laughs it off. When she came over to see his business, he immediately shrugged her off, elbowed her, and snapped at her to knock it off. She just didn't take it seriously. I want the entire future with my boyfriend. Kids, house, land, all of it. So cutting her off or giving my boyfriend the ultimatum doesn't seem feasible. Is this an overreaction? Do I just let the weirdness fizzle out and ignore it in the meantime?